So for people from red list countries, these days finding sponsorship jobs in the UK has become extremely difficult. Let's not even kid ourselves. Let's not even pretend. I know I do videos and I give so much hope to people, but let's be honest with ourselves. Finding a job if you're from a red list country these days has become extremely difficult. Like really, really difficult. And I've done so many videos about it, how to increase your chances, blah, blah, blah. However, there's like one particular route that you can take that would reduce your stress, okay? When you take this route, you are sure of getting a job ASAP. That's ASAP, as soon as possible. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So if you are a nurse, if you're a midwife, if you're a nursing associate, if you are a doctor from a red list country, okay, and you want to get a job so fast, you don't want to waste so much time, this is the route to go, okay? I'll tell you everything you need to know about this route. I personally know so many people that have taken this route, and everybody I know that took this route got a job like fast. Yeah, that's what I'm going to show you in today's video. So this video is proudly sponsored by Skillshare. What is Skillshare? Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes that you can take to help you learn a new skill or improve like an existing skill. In this modern day and age, people are making big money from just learning a new skill and offering their services to people or trying to improve on an existing skill that they have. Personally, I'm a creative person. You know, I do YouTube, and YouTube has opened so many doors for me, and I have greatly improved ever since I joined Skillshare. Honestly, I joined Skillshare about 8-9 months ago, and that's because I watched Ali Abdal. This guy has millions of subscribers on YouTube. I always fancied how he did his YouTube editing, and he's never shared this on his YouTube page, but I saw a class from him on Skillshare where he shared all his secrets and all his tips on how to edit with Final Cut Pro. And now, if you enjoy watching my videos based on how I edit my videos, as most of you have been commenting below, it's all because I took this class from Ali Abdal on Skillshare. That's how to edit in Final Cut Pro X, okay? And it's been really helpful. People enjoy watching my videos. I get more views, and obviously, you know, with YouTube, the more views you get, the more money you get, okay? You might not be into YouTube, you might be into a whole different new thing, and you will still find a class on Skillshare for you. Maybe you want to learn how to draw, maybe you want to learn photography, maybe you want to learn cooking, any skill on earth, okay? There's a class on Skillshare for you. On Skillshare, the classes help you learn by doing, okay? And each class is approximately, let's say, 40 minutes to 60 minutes, okay? That's on average. But you can actually choose the length of the class that you want to take, and then you can choose whether you want to learn as a beginner or as intermediate level or as a pro. Like, you just choose, okay? With Skillshare classes, there are no adverts whatsoever, so you just keep learning, just get the value, that's it. I recommend Skillshare because in this modern world that we are in, you need one skill or the other. Even if you have a skill already, you need to upgrade, okay, to make the best of the skill, honestly. So maybe you want to take a professional turn, or maybe you want to improve your skills in your current position. Skillshare is a great resource for freelancers or entrepreneurs to help you learn new skills to support your business, or to help you learn new skills to launch a whole new business altogether. Okay, so whatever it is you want to learn, I believe Skillshare is the best platform to learn that. And guess what? You can also take the course that I took from Ali Abdal on how to edit YouTube videos using Final Cut Pro X, or take any other class that you want for free using the link in the description. Oh yes, you will receive unlimited access to additional courses on the platform for a whole month for free. Just click on the link in the description and sign up and learn a new skill. Just make use of this free period, okay? And you also have unlimited access to thousands of other courses, okay, free for a month, okay? Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring today's video. So if you're confused and you don't know what red list is, you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know where you have been, but let me just briefly explain, okay? We all know the UK is short of health professionals, okay? They are short of nurses, care assistants, doctors, midwives, blah, 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 nursing associates, and they're giving opportunities for employers in the UK to employ people from overseas. And what made the whole process smooth and easy was the use of recruitment agencies. For instance, I came with a recruitment agency, MMA, okay? But the WHO listed some 47 countries, said these people are red listed. And what that means is that the UK cannot target people from these countries, okay? And what they mean is that if you're from any of these countries, you cannot facilitate your movement through an agency, okay? So now if you're from a red list country, although people are coming every day, people are coming every single day without an agency, but it's tough, it's not easy. The agencies are now focusing on the countries that are not on this list. So it's making people from countries on this list, like, you know, really stressed. There are so many people that have passed IELTS, there are so many people that have passed CBT, some it's nearing its expiry, but they are not getting jobs, and it's all because of this red list thing, okay? So if you are new here, that's what the red list means. The red list means that these countries, you cannot use an agency to help you through the process. I don't know why I still get questions about what is red list. Like, guys, I have so many videos on this. I will leave those videos in the description. Kindly quickly click on it and then watch so that you can understand what I'm about to say in this video. I always say that if you can afford, this is the best option for you if you're from a red list country. So this is how it works. Okay, you know, for nurses, there are 3 main exams that we write to become qualified nurses in the UK. You write an English exam, that's either IELTS or OET. That's if you're not from a major English speaking country. You write the CBT, that's a computer based test. These exams you can write in your country, wherever you are, you can write in your country. But there's another exam that's the final stage of this whole process. That's an OSCE exam. That's a practical exam. For the doctors, their own is called a PLOP 2. For the practical exam, you need to be in the UK to sit that exam, okay, because it's only done in the UK. And then after that, when you pass this exam, you get your license to practice as a nurse. So what people were doing is that they do the English exam in their country, they do the CBT or the other exam in their country, and then they get jobs, okay. They come and work as pre-registered nurses, and then they prepare for the last part of the exam, that's the OSCE, the practical exam, and then they get their PIN. Then they switch from the pre-registered nurse status to work as a nurse in the UK. That's the normal route that people take, okay. But now, if you are struggling to get a job, okay, I will advise that you sponsor yourself and come and take the OSCE in the UK yourself, okay. You sponsor yourself, come to the UK and take the OSCE, pass the OSCE, and apply for jobs in the UK. And I assure you, maybe if you get your PIN today, you're likely to get a job tomorrow. Honestly, once you have your PIN, all the red list things are like, they are, I don't want to say bullshit, but they don't come in, okay. So let me show you. This is how it goes. If you're a nurse, if you're a midwife or you're a nursing associate, okay, once you complete the eligibility and qualification stage, okay, so that's the stage where you've already provided your identity, you've provided details about your training and your qualification and details from the nursing council in your country and then your school, blah blah blah, and then you pay that £140. After you do that, you get an email confirmation from the NMC of UK saying that, you know, they've reviewed your application and they feel that you can go ahead and complete the registration process. So they give you the permission to take the CBT, to register for the CBT, and they give you the permission to take the OSCE as well, okay. So if you get that email confirmation, okay, you can use that to apply for a visit visa to come to the UK and then do that OSCE part. Get your license, in brief, get your license and start applying for jobs, okay. The only thing is, even when you come to the UK on a visit visa to do the OSCE and you get your PIN, even after getting your PIN, you'd have to go back and reapply as a tier 2 visa holder, okay, because you cannot switch within the UK from a visit visa to a tier 2 visa, you understand. So once you get that email confirmation that you can take the CBT or you can take the OSCE to qualify to use this route, the good thing is you don't even have to write the CBT. These days you can either take the OSCE first or the CBT first, but most people take the CBT first because obviously they can do that in their home country, so that when they come here they can only just come and write the OSCE. If you have money, if you can afford it, and then you are in a hurry, you want to get here fast because maybe your IELTS is expiring or whatever, you can actually just come here, take private OSCE lessons, okay, and sit the OSCE. So when you're applying for a visit visa these days, okay, they ask you that, are you coming to visit a friend or a relative, blah blah blah, or are you coming as a nurse or a midwife to take the OSCE, or are you coming as a doctor to take the PLOP 2? These days it is an option there that you can tick, okay. So now it is approved by the Home Office that you can actually take a visit visa to come and write the PLOP 2 if you're a doctor, or to come and write the OSCE if you're a nurse or a midwife or a nursing associate. So it's part of the options for under which, or the reasons under which you can take a visit visa. When you get this visa, you get 6 months, okay, that you can use to come to the UK. You can take private OSCE lessons, which will obviously cost money as well. Take the OSCE and then apply for the job. This is what you need to apply for this visa, okay. So to get a visit visa to the UK, you need to prove your reason for the visit. You also need to prove that after your visit, you go back to your country, and you also need to prove that you can financially take care of yourself, and then you can financially take care of the trip. And even if you can't financially do that, you have a sponsor that's willing to finance the whole trip and everything that you're going to spend, okay. So I'll be showing you how to prove these things and the documents that you need, okay. So how do you prove your reason for the visit? So to prove your reason for the visit, one, you need to submit the documents that NMC gave you, or the documents that the JMC gave you. That's if you're a doctor coming to write the PLOP 2. That's email confirmation that you can now continue with the rest of the process. Also, if you're a nurse, you need to show that you have already booked for the OSCE. If you're a doctor as well, you need to show that you booked for the PLOP 2. So you have to go on I'll leave links in the description. You have to go on the website and then you book for your OSCE, okay. But the thing is, book like 3 or 4 months in advance, okay. Book like 3 months in advance, because the visa application application can take a while and things can just happen. And then you also need to prepare yourself, like do some trainings, okay? And you definitely have to book like at least 3 months in advance, okay, for that. These are the documents that you can submit to prove your reason for visiting the UK. So another thing that the Home Office needs you to prove is that when you come, you would go back, okay? So to prove this, you can submit a letter from the company you are working for back in your home country. This letter should be on a company headed paper, you know, stating that you work there, you've been an employee from this period to this period, and you're currently on your annual leave or whatever, and then you are only coming to the UK to sit an exam, blah, blah, blah. So that can also help. Most of the people I spoke to did not necessarily submit this letter, but it's also an additional letter that you can, you know, submit to, you know, show that you definitely return. But there are several people that I spoke to that did not submit this letter at all, and then they were successful, okay? So to also show that you go back, you can also submit your pay slips as well, that you have a good job and then you're getting money. So that's another thing, but it is not like a major requirement. Another thing that you need to prove is that you can financially sponsor yourself, you know, for the whole trip, okay? And it doesn't necessarily have to be your own money. You can also say that you have a sponsor that's willing to sponsor you from the entire period. When they talk about supporting yourself financially for the trip, they mean proving that you have enough money for a return ticket back home, and then proving that you have enough money for accommodation, or your accommodation is catered for, and then proving that you have enough money for your living expenses in the UK, like your food, your transportation, and all those other things. You can, you know, prove this by submitting a bank statement. Usually on the gov.uk websites, they say 6 months bank statements, which should be stamped and then dated, blah, blah, blah. However, this gentleman that I spoke to who came to the UK through this route that I'm talking about, and he only submitted 3 months bank statements and he was successful. And I was asking him how much. The tricky part is on the gov.uk website, they don't state how much you should have in your account, okay? But when you are filling the visa application, they'll ask you how much you think you need for the whole trip. So you would have to factor in your flight and then your accommodation for that time period and then your upkeep for that time period. They usually say that the amounts that you put there, that's how much you'll be spending, like the reasonable amount that you put there, that's how much the whole trip will cost you. You should have that amount and at least half of it extra in your account. So let's say you said the trip is going to cost you £1,000, okay? They're expecting you to have at least 1,500. This is not on the gov.uk website. Remember, I'm not an immigration lawyer, but from the people that I spoke to, one person made this comment and then he says he believes it works. So that's what people usually say. Like, okay, so don't stress yourself too much. They do know that once you're coming to get this exam done, you're definitely going to apply for a tier 2 visa in future. You're going to get a license, you're going to get a COS. Another thing is that, let's say you don't have a lot of money in your account. You can actually also say that your accommodation is catered for by a friend or a family in the UK. So this person that I spoke to, they stated that the accommodation is catered for by a friend in the UK. So when you say that, you'd have to prove this, okay? So you can submit a letter from your friend. Let's say you know me, okay, and you want to come and stay here during that time period. I can give you a letter stating that, oh, I know this person. We used to be friends back in Ghana, and she'll be staying in my house during the time period to sit for her OSCE or to sit for her PLAB 2, okay? And I will give her accommodation during the time period. I would write this letter, sign it, and then I'll add a copy of my biometric residence permit, my BRP, to it as well, okay? So that's what you have to do. And then I can also add my tenancy agreement, or let's say my utility bill, to show that this is my address as well. I will not need to submit my bank statement because I'm only supporting this person for accommodation purpose. So that person that you are contacting, they don't need to submit their bank statement. They only need to write a letter to confirm that they are going to give you accommodation, add their BRP and to it, okay? If you want to know how to write this letter, it's just like writing an invitation letter, but you only state that it's only accommodation you're providing. I have a video that I have done. I'll link it in the description so you can watch it and have an idea of how you can put this letter. So once you put that, let's say your friend is catering for your accommodation, you only need to prove you have money for the other things like the flights. And so that means you don't really need so much in your account. If you don't have money as well, and let's say your mother is sponsoring the entire trip, you need to submit this person's bank statement and a letter from this person that you say is your sponsor, stating that yes, they are going to finance the entire trip, and the person's bank statement. And you also need to prove your relationship with this person as well. So that is it with regards to the finances. So it's not really a big deal. I believe that if you don't have so much in your account, get somebody in the UK and then to give you an invitation letter to state that they'll provide accommodation, so that you only take care of the rest, okay? And you only need to prove money for the rest, which is the flight and then maybe your food, which is not really much, okay? So that they won't expect so much to be in your account, okay? And so that's that. But remember, whoever is providing you the accommodation should be a legal resident in the UK. So these are the main main things, okay? One, you need a passport. Two, you need to prove your reason for the visit by submitting a letter from the NMC that you have booked the OSCE, and a letter that you can go ahead with the remaining parts of the process, with the proof of financial the requirement, your bank statement or the bank statements of your sponsor, at least 6 months if you can, but if you cannot, 3 months, and then you have at least more than the figure that you put in the visa application that you are coming to spend here or you'll be needing for the trip. You should have at least that money in the house. And then if you have somebody to stay that will provide accommodation, you need a letter from this person as well. And then you should have money, some pocket money as well, right? And these are some of the issues that can happen. One, you need to book ahead, book the exam like 3 months in advance, and apply for the visa as soon as you book the exam, okay? Because this is what happened. One of the people that I spoke to, their exam was rescheduled because of something. I don't know if it was COVID or something, and the exam was rescheduled. So the exam was, let's say, moved from, let's say, March to August, okay? So when that happened, the visa that the person had gotten was going to expire. So this person had to wait till the visa expires, and then this person had to like reapply for another visa and explain to the Home Office that, well, the exam date was changed, that's why I'm reapplying, okay? So that can be an issue. So to avoid this, just book ahead of time, like 3 months ahead of time, to give you enough space. And then you also need to give yourself time to prepare for the exam that you're coming to write, okay? The second issue is that you can fail the exam, okay? So let's say you got a 6 month visa. The visa is for 6 months, okay? So let's say you got a 6 months visa. Let's say you got the visa in January and the exam is in June, okay? You sit for the exam, the visa is expiring in June, you sit for the exam, and then you fail the exam. It's possible. I don't wish that for anybody, but it's possible. So let's say you fail the exam. Now you have to reset the exam, okay? So when that happens, there are two things you can do. You can either go back, okay, to your home country and then reapply and then explain that you did not pass, or you can extend your stay in the UK by applying for an extension, and they can give you another 6 months to take the exam. And this is stated clearly on the gov.uk website. They say that if you are taking the OSCE or PLAB test, okay, he said you can visit for up to 6 months to take the OSCE or the PLAB test. If you do not pass the PLAB test, you can apply to stay in the UK for a further 6 months to retake the test. This extension is about £1,000. So if you're already in the UK and your visa is nearing but you've not passed the exam, you have to apply to extend, and it's quite costly. It's about £1,000. But when you do that, you get another 6 months to retake the test, okay? Yes, but if, let's say, before you even came and let's say the exam date was changed or whatever and the visa expires, the 6 months expires, you can just reapply for another visa, which is less expensive, which is like that £130 or whatever. So the extension is very expensive. That's if you're within the UK and you're extended, but like applying for a visa afresh is much cheaper, because if you're already in the UK and then let's say you failed the exam and let's say your visa is expiring, you have to apply for this extension as soon as possible before it even expires, because you don't want to be known as an overstayer. It can affect your future visa applications. So honestly, this is all that you need to know about the self-sponsorship route. This is the route that doctors use, okay? Doctors have been using this from time wherever, but nurses and midwives, we've always had hospitals sponsor us or care home sponsor us and bring us to the UK and help us prepare for the exam, and then, you know, sponsor the whole thing. But if you really want to be fast and you're from a red list country, use this sponsorship route. It doesn't cost much, okay? And like I said, you can even take this before you sit the CBT, and that's going to be very fast. You're going to get a job like very, very fast, okay? If you need any further information about this, put in your question in the comment section and I'll definitely answer you, okay? I wish you guys all the best. And if you've taken this route, okay, and I left anything out, please do comment below so that other people going through the comments can also benefit as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and all the best to anybody going to take this route. Bye.